Well, folks, we got ourselves a couple of fuel lines that's leaking on this thing, and this front end loader on this thing is raised up, and trying to work under there is rather dangerous. And so we can take this front end loader off of here in about a couple of minutes. We hadn't tried it before, but we know we can do it. So we're going to pull it off, and that way then we can raise the hood, we work safely, and it's a little easier access into our fuel lines.
All right, so it's got a foot here. We're gonna pull this bad boy out. Go ahead and drop our pin back in. Go ahead, Homer, fire up.
I thought I had that problem solved. Dang it.
Okay. Well, we got another problem, so we're gonna fix that problem first. All right, let's get access to that battery. I'm gonna pull this pin. It's just not holding a charge. So we don't know if it's the charging system or the battery, but we'll find out.
You did and went to buy a new battery. Only money, only cost about $150.
You already put a new battery in?
No.
No? Did you ask them, Homer, if it was covered under warranty?
Yeah, I did, and it's not. Battery cost nearly $200, ought to be warranted a little longer than a year.
I agree. I think all batteries should be warranted for...
Yeah, they're 3, 4, 5 years.
You got it?
Yeah. It's aggravating, but that's life on the farm. Oh, this is so much easier than trying to come in from that side over there.
Homer, you think this would have happened if it was a John Deere?
Lord, no.
You know, if you're cutting corners to bring a cost down on a tractor, you do things like make it into manual shift, right? You take out the hydrostatic, but you don't use cheaper hardware. You don't, I don't know, there's some corners you just can't cut if you're still selling what's considered to be a quality tractor. And I can tell you they have cut a couple corners on these tractors.
Should I be worried about this thing exploding or something?
No, ma'am.
All right.
I don't go.
All right. We're going to let it run a little bit before we go any further. We're going to let this thing charge itself back up. I've got a battery tester, but I don't have one here at this location. I'd be able to tell if the charging system's good or bad. A diesel engine doesn't have spark, so it's just going to run on its own. So we have to test the alternator to make sure the alternator is charging. Looking at the gauge cluster, we don't have a, we got a battery dummy light, that's it. There's no voltage meter up there or anything. So we don't know if it's charging or not. Okay, now we're in a dangerous position. Now we've got this 1,500 pound behemoth of a front end loader, and I've got to crawl underneath it and connect some jumper cables. naked.
That's what I was about to say.
I tell you one thing, I got that heavy thing off of the front. I'll race you right down the middle of that road down there and leave you in the dust.
Hold on. Well, I believe we can get some work done in here, huh?
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. We're going to get Maya to help us do it.
Maya, sweetheart, you want to put on the fuel line?
I have a clue what that is.
Well, you can learn though, right?
I mean, I guess.
I don't want to get my hands dirty so you can do it.
Alright. You have one of those rolly things so I can get underneath the tractor?
No, I don't have
Oh.
the creeper.
I don't want to touch it. It might be flammable. I might accidentally catch myself.
Dripping quite a bit, huh?
Well, the problem is I've got two fuel lines that's leaking. One's coming from the fuel tank. The other one is coming from the line that's in behind the overflow. And I got the one that goes from the gas tank to the fuel filter. And they gave me the one that comes from the injectors back to the overflow. That's not the one I needed. So today we're going to change out the one from the fuel tank to the filter, and then we're going to go buy a new battery and put it on the front of it. I'll have to sell some pop bottles or something to get enough money to pay for that thing. All right. There we are.
All right.
This culprit right here is leaking, and this one right here.
And which one do you have that's new, Homer?
I have this new one right here.
Okay.
This one I've got.
So the one that's leaking the most, we don't have right now.
That's correct.
Can't risk getting those messed up.
Why is that?
'Cause your hands are my exfoliators. They're my hands.
Foliated.
So when I hold your hands, they scrape off all the nasty stuff on mine.
You can't be having that.
Yeah, see? Got a homemade spa right
Now then,
there.
that way you don't have to worry about it, honey. You got it all over your hands.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You tricked me.
Uh-huh.
It's not nice.
We're going to find a gas can so that we can take this off and use this as our drain. We'll turn the gas back on, get everything out of the tank, and then we're not pouring diesel all over the floor. I'm going to give it a little bit of a tap. And that's going to help to break it loose. So I'm not bending all that pressure on there. Just a little tap will break that loose. Okay, so now he's going to kick that petcock on, and we're going to let all this fuel out.
I can feel it running. We had an old poppin' Johnny John Deere tractor that way back there about all you had was a pair of pliers, a monkey wrench, and some baling wire to keep them going. And but that John Deere had a stack that come out through the top up there. And so at night when you park it, well, it set a tin can down on top of that to keep rain from going down inside of it. And one morning my dad got up and went out there, and I don't know what he was thinking, but he forgot to take that can off the top of that exhaust. And he cranked that thing up, and it shot that can up in the air and come down and hit him right on top of the head.
I bet y'all were tickled over that.
Oh yeah, that was a grin. He didn't think so. I won't repeat what he said. And, but it brings a memory back of at night laying in bed, and my dad's still going until 12, 1 o'clock in the morning on that old poppin' Johnny. And I'd go to sleep listening to that and bring back some memories. That was a hard working old man. Can't wait to see you, Dad. That's not what you're supposed to be hitting with these hammers. Well, you're going to have to drain the fuel tank to change one gas line. That's not the smartest thing I ever seen tell of. I think I could have figured out something a little bit better than that. And I don't know beans about buckshot about working on these things.
Yeah, absolutely. They used a banjo bolt combination with the fuel line and the shutoff valve. So if they would have just put the shutoff valve ahead of the banjo bolt, you'd have been all right. You could have shut off the fuel line and then replaced the fuel line with, in minutes. But we've been sitting here for a good 45 minutes waiting for this thing to drain out.
But now we've been back in the field working.
Shocked they don't sell new washers with that, but that's the way it is. Got our washer, other washer, new part. This is called a banjo bolt. It's got a hole that goes all the way through it. I have no idea why they call it a banjo bolt. You guys can tell me. The key is you gotta be real careful not to cross thread these things. It's in a really bad position. I got no way to really get a hand on it to get me where I want to go. See, that feels right, but it feels wrong. No, it's right.
Yeah.
All right, so put your thumb on there and you just tighten her up. Well, sounds like the girls are back.
Yeah, sounds like.
Listen to all that racket out there. See what we have to put up with when we're trying to work?
It's my kind of day.
It's me, the M, the AC, the K, sounding like a French pimp pop back in the day. I take it to Ponderay and I watch her skate. I mean, water ski, ollie, oxen free.
Okay, so we need to see if this alternator is charging this battery. And you can't run one of these alternators without the battery disconnected or it can fry the alternator. So what we're going to do is we're going to test it inside here. I got a voltmeter and I just have it set to 20 volts DC. We got the truck on there jumping right now. Now I want you to look at this. 1073. Turn your headlights on. Kill it. Now we shoot back up, right? Okay. All right, so hopefully it's still under warranty, but we have a electrical problem with this tractor. It's not our battery. We don't have to drive to the store and get a battery. It's not charging the battery. That's our problem. We're going to go ahead and leave this hooked up to the truck for a little while and let this recharge that battery. The battery charger that Homer has is not here right now. It's in a different place. So, there you go. Strike whatever for Mahindra. Either a voltage regulator that could be built into the alternator. I haven't looked at it yet, but we have a charging problem. So we have a bad alternator and two bad fuel lines, but the alternator was under warranty, as were the fuel lines, so hopefully Homer will have his tractor back up and running here shortly, and I just hope that we're not going to have any more problems with this tractor once it's done. I will say that they've replaced and updated the fuel line, so that's a good sign, but we're just going to have to wait and see. So after 2 months of being without my tractor, I finally got it back. It's been at the Mahindra dealership for two major problems. One of which is the tractor put itself into limp mode, and that one was pretty simple. They just needed to reprogram the computer. And so they got that one sorted out, but the second one, they did not get sorted out. It's unfortunate, but it's the way it is, and Mahindra does not have a fix for this, and it, to me, is a major problem. I have a temperature gauge that does not work, right? So when I'm working on the tractor, no matter how hard I work the tractor, it doesn't work. So they installed a new temperature sending unit, but it's the same temperature sending unit, so there you go. It's not going to operate properly. They keep telling me that, oh, you're supposed to get the tractor really warm and then it'll move just a little bit. That's not how temperature gauges work, ever, in the history of temperature gauges. They tell you the temperature of the engine at the current time that it's operating. It allows you to monitor the temperature. And this one doesn't work at all. They told me that it would only work now if I spent, maybe 5 or 6 hours in the shop. I've done that. It didn't work before. So I have figured out a solution to the problem that I'm going to have to take care of myself. What happened was Mahindra used the same tractor but put a different motor in it to make it a Tier 4 tractor to pass government emissions. Now what they didn't do was match the sending unit with the gauge, okay? So on Homer's tractor, his temperature gauge works because that was a matched pair. They used the same gauge on my tractor and a different sending unit, the one that came from the manufacturer that made the motor. They're not compatible. So what I have to do is remove that temperature sending unit and replace it with one that is compatible with my gauge, and then I can tell if I'm going to blow my tractor up. So would we recommend these tractors? It's kind of a tough call. I would not put my name on this tractor. If I did, I think that you'd have a lot better service. I think that's important. We have a part on this tractor that doesn't work. I mean, it simply doesn't work. And, you know, that's a bit of an issue. And I also know that after working on Homer's tractor today, that I'm going to have to be replacing my alternator soon. I'm not sure if that's going to be under warranty or not. We're going to have some fuel hose issues. We know that right off the bat, so I'm going to go ahead and replace them. I'm going to do that out of my own pocket because I don't want to be 400 miles away from here, or actually 200 miles away from the dealer, and have to come back and be out of my tractor. This thing was in the dealership for 2 months for them to fix a problem that they did not fix. Okay, it's got 136 hours on it. Yours has 140?
143.
143. No, I cannot. I can't recommend this tractor if you don't have the ability to fix it yourself. If you do, like me, and this kind of stuff doesn't bug you much, and you see it more as maintenance, you know, it's not really hard to replace the alternator, it's not hard to fix these little issues, then it's a great deal. Honestly, the powertrain on this tractor should last for years. The way that it's manufactured, it's solid steel axles. I mean, the whole system is just, you know, it's like an old Massey Ferguson or an old Ford that you see still beating around on farms today, man. It's going to be a beast as far as that goes if you can deal with the little things. Homer, what do you think?
Well, you know, I've loved mine. The only problem I've had is now stupid fuel lines leaking. 2 out of 3 of them are. The alternator shot. I've loved having the tractor, but you know, I mean, any new tractor would have got me this far, and probably not. Excuse me, probably not broke down. It's fast.
It's fast. That's another thing. As far as the tier 4 goes on this, I'm pretty happy with it. We did have a check engine light on. I don't know what it was about. They said they just needed to reprogram the computer, but and as an update essentially. But this just has a catalytic converter. That's all they did for tier 4. There's no blue juice that you got to put in there, so that's good. It doesn't have a reburner or whatever, regen.
Well, I'm just hoping I can get it fixed and get back to work. I've got cows to feed. We've got to still up the pastures out there so we can plant new seed, fertilizer. So it's not worth much to me sitting over there with the hood off.
All in all, I'd have to say that this is a pretty tough tractor, and as far as its capacities, it can't be beat. It lifts more than any other tractor in this size. Heck, it lifts just as much as a tractor with 20 more horsepower lifts, and it can pull, it can do all the things that we need it to do. We're just going to be nagged with a few small problems, and once we work through all those and sort them out, well, I think we'll have a pretty good tractor on our hands. Well, thank you all very much for watching, and remember, subscribe, like, and comment.